Hi, so I'm here for a quick update. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done one. Last week I wasn't able to make a video for you guys, but it's probably a good thing. I was going through a pretty rough week of trading, which isn't which is pretty typical for December months for a lot of traders. Um, it's because December is kind of a hard month to read. There's not a lot of volatility. Uh, Sometimes there's a lot of ranging, sometimes there's a lot of trends. It's just difficult to know actually what's happening. And I traded it pretty heavily, causing some unfortunate losses. So I went from a 58% from my last video update all the way down to 38%. So that's a 20% loss in 1 week on December 18th. And I was able to make up most of it in a few trades the next day uh, on the 19th, and then had another stream of losses on the 21st, and then I've been pretty solid since then. Um, so the price action is a little bit more normal now. I know that we have the New Year's holiday coming up soon, but luckily it ends. This is the last day of the week, but next week will probably be a little bit low on volatility as well. Still, overall, I've come out with about a 15% gain since my last video update, and a 19% gain overall this month, which is 400 this week, which is $413. So I'm really happy with that 19% for this week, especially considering my rough week last week. So I wanted to show you guys that a couple of things. One is I made a withdrawal just for the heck of it, $500. So my account is now sitting at 2,100, and some streams of losses. So what happened during that rough week? Well, here are 5 losing trades in a row, and these all hit stop losses. And it's just the market behavior was difficult to read. Uh, there were good setups, but trades just went against me really quickly. So that was 5 trades in a row right there, and then I had a sixth and a seventh. So that's 7 losing trades in a row. And that's what I hate so much about stop loss systems and stop loss trading is the potential for streams of losses, which drive me nuts sometimes. And it makes you really down. It makes you emotional. It makes you want to overtrade. It makes you not want to use your system anymore. You're like, well, what happened? Why is my system just not working? It's because the market behavior for that particular week, or it's just not going in your favor. And we all know as traders that sometimes that happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that your system isn't working anymore. It could just mean that that it's going through a rough stage for a week or two. But I was able to make some of those losses back with some fundamental trades, like this one right here, the Euro US dollar. I think that I made another one later on. Right here on the Euro CAD, that was pretty good. And those ones were actual fundamental setups. All of the losses that I had, or the streams of losses, were technical setups that just didn't work out. So let's go show you what those actually look like. So I'm going to start with the pound Canadian dollar. Now I'm not going to show you all of the trades that I picked, but I'm going to show you some of the ones that were bad because again, a lot of people don't show you those trades that don't work out. And so that's why I want to do that. I know maybe it's not that interesting to you to see somebody's losing trades, but in videos on YouTube, they always show you, oh, this is how I won, this is how I was able to make profit, but they never show you the dark backside of what's going on behind the scenes when they're struggling. And so here is a really good trade setup, a reversal candle after a big push up on the pound Canadian dollar, which is really one of my best pairs of trading. And I really liked this candle. There's so much showing in this candle, to me at least. It made a new high from the previous candle. There was a recent push up, and there was a clear rejection. This is a rejection candle. The body of the candle is really strong. It's way much lower than even the lowest point of the previous candle. And it just seemed like there was going to be some good volatility pushing down. But again, this was 4 days before Christmas Eve, and it basically went against me right off the bat. So it went down in profit a little bit and then shot right back up and continued to push up after that. I was able to get one nice trade up here at the top, as with a decent recovery. And this one was taken off of another good rejection candle, which was right here. So another push up, a new high from this one, broke the previous highs of all the candles before it. The body of the candle is lower than the close and the lowest point of the previous candle, and it's just a really good setup. But I was quite worried because, again, it's December and it's also Christmas Eve at this point. And actually took this trade right before the closing, and boy, there was like almost no volume in the market. And liquidity was pretty low, especially at this broker Trader's Way. So I had to hold this trade through the Christmas holiday. And then it did push down. I was able to come out with a pretty decent profit overall. So I was happy with that trade. But the original one was a much better setup than even this one. And this one just went against me right off the bat. So here's a couple more. I'm going to show you probably two or three. Another good setup, rejection candle right here. Same kind of thing that I was talking about before. I want to see a good push down and then a rejection candle with the potential for that to bounce and make a recovery. And just not much happened here. So, sorry, it's my cat. So right here, here's my entry. I entered it a little bit late, and this one went against me right off the bat again. And it's just a trend. There was no reason for people to, I guess, to get rid of this trend and counter it during a lack of volume. It's hard to know what's going on during December. Is it going to be a ranging period? Is it going to be trending? Uh, or is it going to be something else? Is it going to be flat? There are so many different things that can happen. I remember last December it being a really a good time for ranging, so scalping would be a really good option last Christmas. But this one is or last December. So this one is so different. And I was just picking the trades that I saw looked good, and they weren't working out for me. So there's the pound Japanese yen trade there. Also took uh, one on the Aussie USD. With this rejection candle, looked great. Was pushing down here. Decent recovery on the upside. Rejection candle. And potentially a good breakout right here too on this rejection candle. And I entered right after that. And this thing went against me basically right after I entered. There was one, like, probably a couple pips down, and then it shot up. And I actually ended up closing out a little early because I didn't want to take the risk after having so many losses in a row. So I think this was like my fifth or sixth loss in a row. And if I actually would have held it on to where my stop loss was, which was right here, this little red dash, that's where my stop loss was. If I would have held on to it, it would have pushed up, got really close to my stop loss up here, and then went back down. I would have been able to come out with profit. Uh, I'm not kicking myself for not holding on to that position. There was a clear reason for me to exit that trade, and it's because I didn't think that the risk was worth it after so many losses, and the push happening directly after my entry. So there was another couple trades. This one was on the pound, USD CAD, and this one actually worked out for me. To show you a win, this one was a rejection candle, and with a push up that happened before that. This was a pretty big push up on this or trend, and then the rejection candle followed by my entry, and it wasn't that many pips of profit, but it did work out pretty well on this particular setup. So I was happy with that, but still, it's been a pretty rough. So these are the last two trades I'm going to show you. And the reason why is because this one has a pretty good reason why I did take these two so close back to back, and they were both losses, really. Um, so the clear trend down. So I was looking to counter this move and saw the rejection candle here. I guess you could say this is a rejection or even a pin candle. I wouldn't say this isn't necessarily a rejection since there wasn't any a good setup previously. But this looked like a good setup for me with a wick that was pretty long, a small body of the camera of the candle, and the low of the candle matching or breaking the previous low. So I thought that there could be a decent bounce there. There was, but it wasn't quite enough to hit my take profit level. I think I missed it by about 3 pips. And it's, unfortunately, it's hard to know how far that was going to extend, and so I can't just close out 3 pips before my take profit. That's not how you are supposed to behave in trading. You just let your profit stay, and if it hits loss, then that's just life. All right, so the next entry. So this one was another rejection candle right here. And this one was actually more of a rejection, or you could say uh, somewhat of a almost like a breakout or an engulfing candle. So there's a lot of good different titles I guess you could give this. Um, it's the low of the previous candle. It broke the low of the previous candle, and there's a good body on the candle as well. Entry, next candle, push up, wasn't enough. I tried to extend my profit because of this setup that was so close and near, just to, not too many candles before that, and then to have another potential reversal point so close together. I thought that, kind of maybe a diversion situation here, and I thought this could extend even further. Well, I was wrong. My take profit was up there, it wasn't even close to getting hit. My stop loss was hit pretty soon after, and then had to move on. So guys, I'm not trying to cherry pick the trades. That's why I'm showing you. I don't, hopefully it's not not too boring for you to watch this, to watch losing trades, but it's important to show you kind of the whole entire picture, the losing trades, the winning trades, and what I've done to try to keep my account healthy by picking the best trade setups with the highest risk and the lowest ones with the lowest. And so far, it's been working out pretty well. It's hard to say what's going to happen in the future, but I'm glad that the rough week from last week, right before the Christmas holiday, is over. So I can hopefully see some better setups that actually follow what I'm trying to do with the market. So thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next update, hopefully next Friday.